Welcome to Trippin with the Engles, RVBuiltFor2.com. This is our review of the RVTripWizard software. More information can be found on our blog at RVBuiltFor2.com. Welcome to RV Built for Two, Trippin with the Engles. Today we're going to do a demonstration of RVTripWizard. And the first thing to do is to navigate to RVTripWizard.com. And fortunately, it's in my memory here. Once you get to the website, you can get a demonstration of the TripWizard tutorials and that type of thing. I'm going to skip right to the demonstration that we're going to be doing and go ahead and log in. Now, you'll be presented a screen like this. You have some options as far as whether it shows the last trip or not. And the first thing that we'll do is take a look at trip preferences. So you'll want to do that first so that you can set up your the RV, miles per gallon, the number of miles that you want to go and stuff like that. So initially what I did is I set this up at 7 miles per gallon, 249 costs per gallon. Our fuel tank is 90 gallons. I want to get warmed in the map to refuel while I still have 20 gallons left. We have 13 feet no inches for the height of the RV. This is an important feature that I haven't seen in some of the other trip planning software. And you can put down the amount of camping, meals, miscellaneous expenses so that it will actually calculate quite a bit of the costs that are involved with camping. For example, you could put in, if you are a member of Passport America, for example, you can put in $30 for the average camping fee, which is half of what you might see, for the $60 camping fee. So whatever you figure that is your camping fee and your meal cost, you can either add that or not. Do you want to avoid major highways, avoid toll roads? And then here's an important part that we'll talk about later that will impact our map is what's your speed, what's your average speed that you drive, and including fuel stops and stuff like that. And then how many hours per day do you want to drive? So I put down 4 hours per day at 55 miles an hour. In reality, since I didn't really include stops for the bathrooms for the dogs and things like that, well, then I just left it at really, in actuality, it'll be closer to 5 hours a day driving for what the map is going to draw. So, or I could have dropped them down the miles per the average driving speed to compensate for rest stops and things like that. But what I did is I just put down 4 hours per day, and I figured that at a maximum, I'll be stopping 1 hour out of that 4. So really, we're looking at a 5-hour day. If I left at 9 o'clock in the morning, then we're looking at 2 o'clock pulling into the campsite. So that's kind of where I was looking at. And then under general setting, you have auto load the last open trip at startup. I have that deselected, but if you're going back in and re-editing the same trip, you can go ahead and click that. So the second step is a full section of campsites and things like that you can select, and the priority. And so if you only want to see, you can see when you actually start working on that map, you can decide whether you want to see only the things that you select here, or do you want to see everything. And if it shows, then all of the ones that you select, it will select the ones that you have in priority. So, and you can have multiple items selected as a priority 1. For example, I have escapees, RPI preferred, the SKP, the escapers, co-op, discount, 1,000 trails, that type of thing, and you can prioritize those. So this is and it has a lot more options than what I've seen from other member type, like the trip planning software for Sam's Club, FMCA, Escapees is coming out with a new one, but this here has gotten a really nice range. And here's where you show only preferred campgrounds. And so I can on-click it and see more things. But for this demonstration, I'm going to have go ahead and just show the preferred campgrounds. All right. So save that, and then you're all set up. You've got your how many miles per day that, or how many hours per day that you're going to want to travel, and you can now we can start actually looking at creating a trip. So the first thing to do is to at the very top there is to start a new trip, and for this trip I'm going to call it California to Florida. So, sorry, I'm in the dock here. Florida demo. All right. And then let's see. Let's start this. We're in April here. Let's start it April the 30th and create. And you want to use the current location of the starting point. If you have your PC or whatever has a location, I'm just going to go ahead and say no at this point here. And I'm going to enter in, for this, I'm going to enter in a generic location. So Sacramento, California. Now you can enter in, it's run by Google Maps, and you can enter in a specific address, but just for the sake of discussion, I am going to put it as a general point there. So there's our starting point, and that is Sacramento, California. Or the way I do it, I want to pick the second spot, the end spot. Where do I want to end up, and then start filling in the middle as we go. You can do it other ways, but I like doing it this way, saying I'm going to start in Sacramento, and I want to end in Tampa, Florida. Okay, and do a find. So what I scroll down here, there's Tampa, and I'm going to add to the trip end. All right, so we have our beginning and our ending. And as a matter of fact, if we zoom out, there's our beginning and ending points. And this spot here is where we need to get fuel. We've got a fuel warning there. So let's go back to where we started in Sacramento. And then that will zoom in the map. And if we scroll out a little bit, an interesting thing happens. And that is we see a red circle. Now the red circle is based on the miles, the speed that we drive, and that was defined as 55, and the hour or the hours, and the hours that we want to drive. So either hours or miles. So this puts us, our red mark, as far as 4 hours of driving, puts us down almost to Bakersfield. So let's go down here and zoom in. And we can drive a little bit farther here. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few places here. So here is, if we click on it, here's one that has a FMCA, Good Sam, Passport America, AAA, Escapees member. And you can tell by the icon a little bit of what it is. Here's the Rosedale RV Village. That's an FMCA park. And there's, again, a little description and a web link for that RV park. You can click over here, and there is a National Forest campsite. So you can kind of shop around and see, well, how far do you want to go away? And for this trip, let's say we want just a one-night stay over. So we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and select this one here. And of course, you can call and make a reservation and then add it to. But you know, as a guest, we'll just go ahead and say this, and we'll say we are going to stay one night, and we don't want to add it to the end because we've got Tampa. So what we're going to do is add it after 1. Okay, and then click there. Okay, so there's our second point. Now, again, if we scroll back up a little bit here, we're still focused on our first point, Sacramento. And so how do we get the circle down here? Well, all we have to do is if we click on our where we're staying the first night, and then zoom out, we get our red circle back. So this is taking us here along a little bit more northern route than what I would like. I've actually got some friends down here in the Palm Desert area that we would like to visit rather than going up in this Highway 40 route. So this is along Highway 10. So what we're going to do, instead of following this area for our second point, I want to stop in Palm Desert. And again, you can enter in an actual address or a city, or you can click on the location and do a find. The other thing you can do is take a look. Okay, I'm centered in on about where the red mark line. So I'll scoot it down here, and I know Palm Desert is generally in this area here. So I'm just going to zoom in on the center of the map and then drag it up here. Oh, okay, there's Palm Desert, and gee, it's within our 4-hour window. And what I can do is here's a Passport America. That's the little icon there. Riverside, and you can scroll down and get the information about that. You can click on the link, and it will bring up the link for that website. So get a little bit of information, the fees, how much they charge, then click on the tab and go back to the trip planner. The other thing that you can do is just click on, just enter in the city. If you want to I'm going to drive to Palm Desert, and when I get there, I'm going to drive around and see what's available. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to say I want it someplace close to Palm Desert. I don't want to worry about reservations and stuff right now, but I'm going to stay one night someplace in Palm Desert. And so in Bakersfield, we actually picked an RV park. But for this one here, we're just going to say, yeah, someplace. So we want this added after stop number 2. So we enter in 2. And again, we just entered it in as Palm Desert, and we add to trip. Okay? All right. And then there we go. Now, if we zoom out, we've shifted our whole trip down to Interstate 10 instead of up here, Interstate 40. Now, if I notice also, I have a fuel warning light here. And so I'm within my 20 gallons by the time I get to Palm Desert. And so what I can do, let's see, we've got San Bernardino there. And what we can do is show a point of interest, points of interest. So we can click that, and let's take a look at fuel. So now all of a sudden, we've got fuel popping up all over the place. We've got the Costco, and we've got truck stops. Here's a Sam's Club here. So we happen to have a Sam's Club membership. Click on that. And I would probably want to give them a call to see if, in our case, we have diesel. We have a diesel pusher, so we may want to find out if they have diesel or not. And I'll show you a way to do that in a minute. So, well, we're going to add this. We're going to say, let's get gas here. And it'll be 0 nights. And then for comments, I'm going to put Sam's Club refuel. And then I want to add that after our Bakersfield stop, but before Palm Desert. So that will be after number 2. Oops. Go back over here to San Bernardino. And there's the Sam's Club there. Okay, zero night. Sorry about that. But it's pretty easy to navigate around. I'm going to do Sam's Club refuel. And I'm going to do that after stop number 2. And then add to trip. All right, so now we've got to stop at Sam's Club. Next thing what we need to do is edit the information. Now, according to our estimates at 7 miles per gallon and the number of miles that we traveled, we should have about 28 gallons left. So we'll say that we refuel and fill it up, and that would make it, whoops, 62 gallons. All right. So notice that it's calculated how much fuel we have remaining, and if we add 62 gallons, if we scroll back out again, let's uncheck the fuel just to clarify that and hide the points of interest and zoom out. Now we can go forward. Now notice our refuel point is between Tucson and El Paso now, since we refueled in San Bernardino. And again, what we can do is scroll back in. Now in this case, let's see. We can zoom in and notice that there's a height restriction. And it looks like it's right there on our route on the freeway. And so that's always good to check out. But as you zoom in, what you'll usually find if you're traveling on the interstate, that it is a location off of the highway where there's a height restriction. And we put our height restriction at 13 feet. So here are some clearances that are 12 to 13 feet. So you can double check what's going on there. And, oh, let's see. Glendale sounds like a nice, let's look at Thousand Trails Encore. And take a look. This is Palm Shadows RV Resort, $30 to $40. Yeah, let's do this. And we're going to put this at the next stop, which is after number 4, and add to trip. So pretty cool, huh? Now we go to Thousand Trails. Oh, but we forgot to add that we were going to stay a night. So we just click on the edit button. One night. Based on our estimates before, we say $15, and we're down to 41 gallons of fuel here at this point. Okay, so click submit, and again, we zoom out. Let's go ahead and select where we're staying, and again, it recenters and zooms in, and we zoom out to where we see the red circle. But actually, before we get to the edge of our red circle, we've got another refuel spot here. So let's look at in the Tucson area here. And we can do the show points of interest and select fuel. If we wanted to, if we were going to do shopping, we could select Cabela's. If we knew that we needed some things, we could select Sam's Club or Walmart. If we wanted to look at Walmarts that of camping, we get Super Walmart Park OK and Walmart Park OK. So you may want to double check that, of course, but there's a lot of granularity that you could look, including some boondocking options that are on this here. Okay, so as we go in here, we selected Sam's Club. We show the Sam's Club if we want to do some shopping. So let's say by that time we know that we're going to need some fresh fruit and stuff. So we select Sam's Club, 0 nights, and I'm going to, since we selected it off of this menu, we really don't have to put a comment on what it is, but we're going to do that after number 5. All right. Let's say that there's no refuel spots that are showing up here that I want to look at, that I want to refuel. There's a Costco with, let's say these are all gas and no diesel, and just out of curiosity. So what we can do, you have to pick a campsite that you're looking at. So it doesn't, you don't have to actually select it to be over in your route, but if you pick it, then you can click on fuel prices. And this brings up Bing gas stations. So based on what you clicked on, it has to be a campsite, a campground that you pick out. It shows the fuel prices and how close it is, and you can, by cheapest, by distance, and then what you can also do is select diesel. Okay, and so that selects diesel, and then we're on Highway 10, so let's see. There's a pick that one there. And diesel is going for $2 per gallon at that one there. And then what you can do is actually just copy the address. So that's a chevron. So I did a Control-C to copy that. And what I'm going to do is enter in a location. Now I copied it, so I'm going to paste this on here and do a find. Okay. And then I'm going to put down here chevron, diesel. Okay. And I want that added after we stop at Good Sam. So after number 6 and add it to the trip. Okay. So now I've got this here, Irving Road. But when I go back to it, I may forget. So I'm going to go through here and edit information. And so fuel added is going to be 80 gallons. Oh, and I already got Chevron diesel there. Okay, so anyway, 80 gallons will bring it back up, actually more than 100, so it doesn't make any difference. It only gives you, you can put whatever you want. If you put in 5 gallons, it'll only increment it to 5. If you put 100 gallons, it's only going to add whatever adds to our tank capacity, which in this case is 90. Okay, so we do a submit there. All right. Now I'm going to hide the points of interest and scroll back out. Okay, and come over here and look at a place to stay. So you get the idea there. So given my range, I could either stay, here's a Passport America, or I can go down. Let's go to the proof. Let's clean up the proof points of interest and turn off fuel and turn off Sam's Club. So I'm just looking at the camping places. Let's say, oh, well, I've already stopped once for Sam's Club and stuff. Let's go ahead and come over here and stop at an Escapees affiliate. So Dreamcatcher RV Park looks nice. In our price range, I'd like to support the Escapees. And I will stop there at number 7 and add trip. All right. And again, we scroll back out. If I pick the Dreamcatcher RV, that becomes the center now. And I can again scroll back out. And now I've got my red circle again. And I can pick looks like I need a camping place and a refuel place basically in the same area. So I work my way across the country, adding locations, adding Sam's Club, places to shop, adding refuel points, and you can also, if you look at the edit information, there's a place for reservation number for campsites, and you can actually change the totals here for meals and stuff like that, so you can actually keep track of some of the expenses that you've got. So that's building a trip. You just basically work your way across the country, all the way across the trip, and to do that, to create your trip plan. Now, one of the neat features is that there's a print function. Now, not only does it print to your printer, which is, you can see it here a little, it does a map and then each of the places that you stop at. So we do a print trip. And in this case, what I will do is send it to PDF. That way you can see it. Well, here's a preview. So it does the trip, it does a map of the trip, and then each of the locations. It includes the dates, the miles driven, the total miles driven, the reservation that you have. And one thing that's kind of nice is that, I'll just zoom in here a little bit. Gives you your phone number, your email address, website if there is one, telephone, the latitude and longitude. So there's lots of information that is part of the printed trip planner. Now, one of the other neat things you may have noticed when I selected print is that you can also select Excel and then do a print. And then we'll select it. On this computer, I have OpenOffice, and it should bring it up good. It understands Excel. And you have basically the same information that was on the paper, but it's something that you have cells that you can work in. So you got the stop name, how many miles that you went between each leg, and the total number of miles. You've got your arrival date, the number of nights that you're staying, when you depart, the cost, reservation number, location, phone, latitude, and longitude. And then you could, of course, add additional columns if you want to do some additional analysis. And then so far, from Sacramento to Tampa, it's just under 3,000 miles. 9 stops so far in 3 nights. So, of course, we haven't worked our way clear across country. So that functionality it's pretty nice. It's a very robust way to export the information as far as a package trip. But in addition, you could actually export to the GPS. And we have a Garmin RV GPS, and it exports all the points of interest on a trip in sequence to the GPS. It doesn't export it as a trip per se, but it does give it to the GPS as a packaged set of points of interest in sequence. So each one of the stops along the line is in the GPS, and you can just go ahead and dig there. So there's a little bit of instruction there. In some cases, like for the Garmin, I had to download a separate utility from Garmin in order to upload the points of interest, but that was pretty easy to do and very straightforward to use. So that is there's more features, lots more features. The other thing I'll mention is that the RVTripWizard is not free. And I did try, like as I said, some of the other trip planning software, for instance, like FMCA and Sam's Club. And I felt that for $38 a year, for us being full-timers and the amount of traveling that we do, this makes the first, the trip planning so much easier and so much complete. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is Trippin Engles, RVBuiltFor2.com. You can visit our website, and I have a blog entry that has information on with screenshots and things like that. So if you didn't catch it all, if you don't have to take notes, you can actually go to the blog and take a look at it there. Thanks for joining us. Good night. Welcome to Trippin with the Engles, RVBuiltFor2.com.